Hey Void, how are you? Baby Rizzo back, and what happened to my channel? Half my things seem to be gorilla reviews, and the other half are shark reviews. I guess I found a niche. Anyway, so that 8-movie shark collection, this isn't part of it. This is just another one. Because I just happen to have a lot of bad shark movies, I guess. Two-headed shark attack. Oh boy. So, this movie is done by The Asylum. And I know I've done something by The Asylum before, but now that I've done over 100 of these reviews, I can't quite remember which one it was. But I know I've done something by The Asylum, and, well, they also have a niche. Between mockbusters, utterly absurd movies, and just random... I don't even know what to call it. They have a feel and a style, and Two-Headed Shark Attack is one of those movies. So, their movies are all ridiculous, but they run the gamut on how actually entertaining they are. Some are so bad they're amazing. Some legitimately actually pull off some interesting things, and some are just, oh dear God, why? This one's the latter. Because certain times, they never have a budget. But they go all in on no budget. They will do whatever, regardless of whether or not they can. Whether they should never even factors in. And bless them for that, really. But some attention to detail really should be upheld. So, Two-Headed Shark Attack, what is it about? It's a two-headed shark. And it attacks. Where did the two-headed shark come from? This movie is not at all interested in exploring that. No. Most movies with a giant and or mutant creature, they will give some shoestring, bare bones explanation of where it came from for most bad movies. This one doesn't even really try. Which is both props for going for it, and the other hand, it's like making laziness an art form, really, at this point. One character offhandedly comments that some species are occasionally with a genetic anomaly will be born with two heads. Snakes, rodents, he kind of makes a list, but notes that none of them ever really lived to see maturity. That's it. That's all they say. So, the fact that a two-headed shark exists, they don't really say how or why. It just does. Anyway, it seems to be terrorizing a group of students that are following their teacher on some... There are a bunch of college kids on some sort of at-sea class thing. It's kind of unclear what the class is, other than they signed up to be at sea, and the teacher's going over what a sextant is. Beyond that, I don't know what they're studying. But they end up hitting a, looks like a shark or whale or something. It was something that was preyed upon by the two-header. And it ends up damaging the motor when it hits the propellers, and the blood caused by that draws the two-headed shark in, which damages their hull, though none of them actually see the two-header at this point. However, they're near an atoll, which isn't actually an atoll. It's just an island. But, sure. Anyway, the atoll is nearby, so they want to get to shallower waters, take the students on land, so they can try to find some extra scrap to patch the hull. And anyone who goes in the water eventually gets picked off one by the two-headed shark. Asshole students betray other students. There's a lot of infighting. Most characters are not likable. all their acting is flat, and eventually we're whittled down to barely anyone left, and they're determined to blow up the shark. Since, in order to get out of here, they either have to repair the boat, which will attract the shark, and the only other option is to scuttle the boat, which will activate the emergency transponder. I don't know a lot about boats, admittedly, but I'm pretty sure you can activate an emergency transponder without having to scuttle your ship. Like, there should be a way to manually do that, no? You think? I mean, you'd expect? But... And that's really all there is to two-headed shark. Now, the shark is 90% CG, of varying sizes. I could not tell you how big the shark is. They keep making out it to be really huge, but at the same time, sometimes it is decidedly not huge. Depending entirely on what shot it is. And it seems to be ranging anywhere from about 9 feet to well over 20. And that's a big range. Sometimes it seems to be able to see someone around the waist with one head. Other times it's that one person could easily go down one head's gullet. It varies. And occasionally, through some really extreme close-ups, they have some, like, rubber shark heads that people are fighting with. Which actually looks pretty good. That part looks cool, despite the teeth kind of flopping all over and clearly being made of rubber. The design, actually, on that part looks cool. But the CG on the shark itself is bad. And this album always has a history of using bad CG, so that's expected. But what they CG is weird. Like, okay, there's a lot of CG blood. Fine. There's a lot of CG body parts. Okay. But the atoll is slowly sinking and falling apart, and, like, they come across a random hole in the ground. And they CG that. Is it really cheaper to CG in a hole than to just have someone dig a hole? Asylum? We have to talk about priorities here. Just because you can CG something doesn't mean you should. Just dig a hole. In fact, they even have little bits of dust fall in the there that they CG'd in. It's like, why? And pretty much any time the atoll is slowly falling apart, because it's sinking, of course it is. So they can't just wait out the shark on land, because land is eventually going to sink. That's all CG too. Like, a CG tree will slowly fall. So, the acting, I just already mentioned, it's flat, it's wooden. Most characters just have this snide acidity that just makes them not pleasant to be around. I mean, there is the one douchebag bodybuilder who's supposed to be, but one of the main people who's supposed to be our main character just comes off as snide and like she is just more annoyed and pissed at everyone around her. So she's hard to be around. There's only like 2 characters that are likable. The teacher himself his acting just sounds hollow. Carmen Electra's, she's trying. But no. Also, when the survivors are getting rescued, for some reason the helicopter that's coming to save them at the end is a military-grade thing that seems to be loaded with rockets. I think the Asylum just had one helicopter CG GIF, or CG model that they rigged up and just used it for everything, regardless of whether or not it makes sense. So it's just a CG attack helicopter that's coming to rescue, because why would they send a military attack helicopter to rescue the scuttled boat? They don't know anything about the two-headed shark. They never were able to broadcast anything about it. Also, their plan is to try to, like, explode the two-headed shark. Okay, sure. They have a bottle of gas, canister of gas. Okay, sure. But when they're trying to light it with a wet T-shirt, like, they wring it, they like, take off your shirt while they're in the water, they wring it out and try to light it on fire. It's like, I don't know if your characters are dumb or you think the audience is dumb. It's one of the two. And then at the end, they get rid of the shark by having... I'm not sure exactly what happened, really. Like, they blow up one head earlier with that gas plant. Okay, fine. But then that shark is attracted to the motors of the boats, like you do. But, so they pretty much find a boat at the end, send it off, the shark just comes up behind it, bites it, and explodes. Why? I don't know. The shark's been eating boats all day, so why this one suddenly exploded? I don't know. The character didn't seem to do anything in particular to it. It's just... it blew up, I guess. I don't think they did anything with the lighter that they were doing. And I don't know. I may have blinked for a second. If there was an explanation. I didn't get it. So this movie, it's dull, really. You come for the gimmick of having a two-headed shark, and that's about it. Half the thing is action taking place well away from the camera in the distance, and other characters looking at it, and oh, it's not that entertaining, which is the biggest crime an asylum film can do. Because an asylum film, it can be bad, because it's going to be bad. But it can be so over-the-top ridiculous that you have to see it and it's amazing. And Two-Headed Shark is not that. So, between all of its glaring flaws, I mean, they're on an open sea and you can see buoys around them. I'm sure I'm forgetting half the mistakes I noticed in this film. Because there's a lot. It was a circa 2012 direct-to-video, I'm pretty sure. It's short, but that's the highest praise I can give it. 1 star, 1 MacGuffin, 1 head for Two-Headed Shark. Now, in terms of ridiculousness, this movie did get sequels. Those do sound like they would be even more ridiculous, so maybe there's some hope for 3-Headed Shark, 5-Headed Shark, and 6-Headed Shark. I'm not kidding. Those are the actual sequels to this movie. 1 MacGuffin, however, is all I can award Two-Headed Shark.